Okay, we are live, everybody, live here with another Harry Has ADHD. Welcome, everybody. My name is Harry Turjanian. I am a comedian, writer, and I'm hearing feedback here. Oh, yes, on Instagram. There we go. Let me mute that for a second so I can see myself. Hi, my name is Harry. Let's start it properly. This is so hard to do this on your own, and I have ADHD. This is one of the worst ways to do this show. And I have the wrong background. I'll change that background in a minute. But I'm here to solve ADHD problems. I'm here to. This is like a mental health podcast. Now, look. All right, this is a terrible way to start. Everything that can go wrong. This was for a different podcast, so I got to change that. Branding. Branding is important, guys. Branding is important. God forbid we have the wrong branding, and then the algorithm will punish me by not letting me do what I have to do here. Here we go. Come on, for the love of God. For the love of God, why? Why is this so hard to get the background? This doesn't happen on the Joe Rogan Experience. Maybe because Joe Rogan doesn't do this all on his own, and he has money to hire people. Doesn't matter. Oh, this is the worst. There's no way any of you would stick around. I don't blame you. But because I have ADHD and there's too many buttons to press. Come on, for the love of God. Here we go, here we go, here we go. This will allow people to get into the room, but nobody will stay. That's the interesting part. But, hey, success. We did it together. We did it together. Welcome to Harry Has ADHD, an ADHD podcast for people with ADHD, people with mental health issues. Let's be honest. We're all kind of nuts and a bit out there. My name is Harry Turjanian, like I said, host, comedian, writer. Now, what makes me qualified to help people with their ADHD? Am I a doctor? No, I'm not. Absolutely not. In fact, I am banned from several medical facilities. We don't even need to go into the reason why. And teaching hospitals. We don't need to go into why that's the case. That's some of those are pending. I'm a comedian, writer, broadcaster, and a sufferer of ADHD, survivor of ADHD. And I guess the whole point of this is a place we can come together and share and try to heal each other and well, I guess I'm inviting you to come have ADD with me. Come have ADHD with me, everybody. Come have ADHD with me. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about some grief. Grief. Right now, that's interesting. Grief is a subject not always associated with ADHD. But one of the things about having ADHD or other mental, and this isn't limited to just ADHD. Let's not pretend like if you don't have it, like I'm going to kick you out if you have another mental illness you want to talk about. We all have it because people who have ADHD tend to have something else too. It's not just that. There's always other things. I also technically am bipolar. I have a little bit of the I have a smidge. I have a smidge of the bipolarism, which is interesting because that's one of those things. Like my girlfriend, she's Mexican and she comes, it's a very, I'm Latino also. And that's a very taboo subject to mention that you've been diagnosed or that you're taking medication. She hates it when I announce. Because why? Why? Because people look down upon it. You're mocked. People think you're nuts. Your word isn't taken as seriously if you have that, if you're a sufferer or a survivor. But welcome, one and all. Come have ADHD with me, all of you ADHD disciples, as we have it. So today's topic, and I'm multitasking here, and I'm still learning how to do this. I've been broadcasting for 20 years, but I never usually do it on my own. This is its own sort of a sort of situation here. And so there's a lot of elements to pull up. I got 2 laptops working. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for somebody with ADHD because everybody has their own thing. And this is why it's difficult for anybody with ADHD to do anything. I think this is a great idea for a show. I really do. I think it will catch on. I think because there's a lot of people who have ADHD And not that it's like a secret thing. I think everyone like kind of is aware that we all have it. But what was my point? I'm gonna lose track a lot, and that's I'm doing it for you, I guess. I'm doing it so you don't have to. I got different systems working in different ways. Instagram has to work a certain way. YouTube and Twitch are all right. They seem to be functioning properly. And then I'll have a little comment section that, of course, because I have to do TikTok right now, I guess if I don't broadcast with a certain number of broadcasts, they don't allow me to go live. And so I have to have my phone has to be out. So I got my phone doing the TikTok. I got Instagram needs a stream key, but nobody else needs a stream key. To get a stream key from TikTok, I have to, I think at least, I still don't know the full details of it. Allegedly, I'm supposed to be broadcasting at least 3 times for 30 minutes, which is not a problem, but it's just now I have 2 laptops going to make sure the sound is working properly. And then also TikTok on a stand on the phone, and then a TV monitor in the back. It's too much. And this is why people with ADHD don't want to do anything. We have a lot of great ideas. That's one of those things. We have a lot of great ideas. You know, and but it's just the work. I mean, just to write an email, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And you know, it's a lot here. But we're live, and I'll get to my point. There was a point, right? There was a reason I started this. There's a reason I did it, if I can remember. Oh, that's right. Mourning and loss and grief, right? So people with ADHD can, you know, there's a lot of ways to have it and stuff. And but also when you have ADHD, you're a little bipolar. Sometimes people need mood swing medications and things like that, which I take a little bit of that. The bipolar medicine apparently helps my ADHD. All right? So am I muted? You can't hear me. Oh, boy. That's not good on TikTok. This is why I hate trying. The lesson, kids, of this whole thing is never try. I think that's really what I want to impart on the kids. Because now, why would I be muted? Why should I be muted? I shouldn't be muted. Oh, you're muted. Oh, you mother... I don't remember pressing mute. Why is that an option? I just remember pressing live. Go live, and yet now I'm muted. I don't know how to fix that. Do I stop this this TikTok broadcast? I'm going to put an earpiece in. This is horrendous broadcasting. This is horrendous. No wonder nobody wants to stay on the thing here. How do I fix it? Don't know. Don't know. Mute microphone? Nope, I didn't ask for that. Hopefully TikTok can hear me now, and they'll let me know. For the love of God, please, somebody on TikTok let me know if I'm not muted. But if not, this is what you're getting on TikTok, and it's going to destroy my numbers. All right, we're talking about grief, right? ADHD. This is the most honest portrayal of what it's like to have ADHD. And so we wanted to talk about grief, right? We want to talk about grief and what it's like to have grief. What it's like to have grief when you have ADHD. And there's a lot going on this week. A lot of people passing away. A lot of big names from our past. And now I was supposed to prepare for this show, and I didn't do that. Procrastination is a big part of ADHD. And so now I'm just going to look up how does grief and death affect people? Not people's lives. Is that a general question people have? Let's see if people can hear me now on TikTok. I'm hoping. Is there a place I can write on this thing? Oh, God. Right now I'm hating TikTok so much right now. So much. Never asked to be muted on TikTok. Mirror your video. It's mirrored. Mute microphone? Nope. Settings are cool. So hear your voice. Use your headphones to hear how you sound to viewers. Okay. Let's see. Oh, boy. Hopefully they can hear me on TikTok. This is an awful show. One day this will get better. One day. I did this literally. By the way, this is not the first time I'm on TikTok. I did this. And they could hear me. And I got a pretty good response from TikTok. What did I do differently this time? No clue. Again, the big lesson here is if you have ADHD or if you don't try, kids. Never try. So grief and death can significantly impact, this is what the AI says, individuals with ADHD, often intensifying existing challenges related to emotional regulation, focus, and impulsivity. The intense emotions associated with grief can be overwhelming, leading to difficulties processing and expressing, and apparently reading, processing and expecting feelings in a typical way. This can manifest in unpredictable emotional responses, misdirected hyperfocus, and even physical symptoms like sleep disturbance. Well, yeah, sleep disturbance and changes in appetite. I get that. So ADHD in general apparently is characterized by difficulties with emotional regulation, and grief can exacerbate these challenges. Individuals with ADHD may experience grief more intensely, leading to rapid shifts. So I guess people with ADHD, we're already like, unhinged to some degree. We don't function properly mentally, right? And so, we're already in that rough a situation. So, intense feelings of grief, that's something that only adds to it, right? It makes it a little more difficult. Also, we tend to overthink things. So I think we think about mortality and, I guess it brings up additional feelings and other stuff. And so, there is a thing that happens, especially when celebrity dies, right? Celebrities die. Excuse me, not celebrities in general. When the idea of celebrity dies, there we are, and we take it in a weird way. It's hard. So this week especially, it's been very hard because some of the people that passed have now I have to check if I'm live on Instagram. One day I'll get this right, guys. One day I'll get this right. Am I live on Instagram? Have I ever been live on Instagram? Is this all an illusion? Oh, I guess I didn't press go live. And okay, so now I've not been live on Instagram the whole time. Lucky Instagram, by the way. YouTube and Twitch. Apparently, you're the only ones who got to hear this whole dissertation about how the TikTok didn't work properly, and Instagram, you can just enjoy that the video is live and popping and working. No, I don't want to co-host with anyone. I just want people to hear me, guy, in the TikTok. I just want people to hear me. Is there something for that? I don't want to co-host anyone else's podcast. I barely want to do this one at this point because it's going so terribly. And yet this is what it is. This is what it is, guys. All right. So back on topic. If the people of TikTok, for the love of God, if you're watching on TikTok, you know what? There's a way I can check on TikTok, right? That was the whole point of having this other thing here. Let's see. I can't check on my own feed, right? I can't multitask. It's impossible to multitask. For me, I think, first of all, multitasking is a myth. We all know this to be true. And it's even further a myth when you have ADHD. And then you're trying to do a show about ADHD. This is like the movie Inception, except not at all satisfying for anybody. So if anyone, I'm going to try to, what can I do here? Oh, I got an idea. I can share it and listen if I can know that I'm on TikTok. And then I swear to God, I will be getting to points. I will be making some point somewhere. I don't hear myself on, no, TikTok. There is no sound on the ticky-tacky here. Unless I've muted this. There's not even a button to mute or unmute. And I guess let me see if I can go to other people's things and see if they're live. Are they live? Am I getting sound from other people's videos? Oh yeah, most definitely. All right. Well, fuck off, TikTok. You hurt my feelings. And now I don't feel bad that Donald Trump might be taking you away. Oh, Lucas, how you doing, buddy? Somebody in the comment section. This has been 14 minutes of peak ADHD. Yes, it is. And I hope that's kind of the point of what I want to do here. But the idea of this, like, hey, I'll just go on a feed, and people can enjoy my ADHD, right? And that's like, we'll have ADHD together. That's like a charming little idea. That's a charming little thing, right? We'll have ADHD. It's a niche, and in actuality, it's horrendous. So, but I don't know. You seem to be enjoying it. If you stick with me, I'll get to a point. I'm just trying to set up TikTok, and it's not from a lack of preparation. This is where it gets frustrating when you have ADHD, is that I really did take my time. I did my homework. I did it like a good boy should. I took my ADHD medication, although I do need I literally do. Hold on. I swear to God, I do need the follow-up. I need a chaser, because apparently my brain is so messed up. The ADHD itself is not working unless, I take it works for a little bit, and then I have to take a follow-up, and I actually have to do that live on camera because I forgot. So here we go. I'm going to take a bit of Concerta. Oh, man. Remember like when it was edgy, like on the Howard Stern show or whatever, when someone would get their nipple pierced, or you're smoking weed in the radio studio? And this is what it's come to. This is edgy stuff. I'm taking my Concerta. Here we go. This is awful. Everything about my broadcasting instinct says this is horrendous. So hopefully I will get to a point, I swear to God. I didn't just make the JPEG on the YouTube with Hulk Hogan, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and OZZY Osbourne. All right, there we go. I think we're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. I hate everybody involved. I hate all these weird nerds who want to make this so that, hey, man, this is our exclusive thing. Go to hell. Same thing with Apple when they used to make, those the power cord. Thank God they're changing that. All right. And this is sounding less like a podcast and more like 60 Minutes with Andy Rooney, which I'll have to explain that to you later. All right, we're doing great. Here we go. Finally the show gets started, guys. I'm so sorry. There's no fucking way that it's been 17 minutes. Oh, God. 17 minutes of nonsense. I said it would be tough. The weird part is it's not hard for me to fill time. It's just the quality of time is what I was concerned about. Lucas DeSangro, by the way. I don't know. I never know how to pronounce your last name. I always call you Lucas, and that's it. Fantastic wrestler, and I forget what mental illness do you have, bud? I forget what it is. Is it what is that one that you curse a lot, that they make fun of on movies and stuff, that is not like, that's not how it really is? Tourette's. I think Lucas has Tourette's, and very open about it. I'm not outing him. So here we go. All right, let's get started with this. Tourette's, that's right. Yes, somebody chimed in with Tourette's. He does have Tourette's, and he's doing really well for himself. I do miss seeing him. He's a wrestler down, I forget which company he works for. He's on Apple TV. There's a documentary. You can plug that. Okay, so let's get back to the grief situation here, right? We're talking about grief, and this week in particular, we got hit with a lot of celebrity deaths. And celebrity deaths are interesting because in theory you don't have a direct attachment to them, right? In theory, you're like, I don't know these people. I never met Hulk Hogan. I never met Malcolm Jamal Warner. I never met Ozzy Osbourne. I'm more of a fan. I guess I'm in a way. I'm a fan of all three of these in a way. But the thing is, when you're mourning, you can mourn any way you want to mourn. Hulk Hogan's death is a very complicated one for wrestling fans all over the world, especially people of color. I am Latino. I know I don't look it. I know I'm white presenting. But I am Latino. I am technically a person of color. And so it's hard because when you grew up, Hulk Hogan is an icon of the 80s, right? That's undeniable. He's one of the most famous people. I mean, when my parents, who knew nothing about pop culture because they're immigrants and didn't care, like, see, all right, already in the comments, and this is justifiable. This is very justified. R.I.P. Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy. Don't care about the other one, and I understand. And so I kind of posted this morning that you can separate the art from the artist, right? And I do that. I'm able to do that. Not everybody is, but I don't judge you if you're not. So I can mourn the character of Hulk Hogan, who elevated the wrestling business, and in doing so brought me a ton of joy. Just a lot of and a business I work in today, and created something that allowed me to get closer to my grandfather, because we would watch wrestling, and I can appreciate that character, but I can at the same time be very disappointed and furious at Terry Bollea, the man, for making horrendous, terrible decisions in life. But that's a very jarring thing for people to have to experience, right? I think that's not an easy thing. It's very complex. It's even more complex as people post there. What is the right thing to post? I think the best way to do it is to say, the man made mistakes, and I'm not here to discuss that, or he certainly made his mistakes, but what he did for the industry, blah, blah, blah. I think acknowledging it is important. Some people are just, everyone does their death thing differently. There is this old adage that you never speak ill of the dead. And personally, I don't buy into that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't buy into that at all, and I'll tell you why. Because just because you're dead doesn't mean we stop talking about the awful things that you've done. I mean, Hitler's dead. Do we just like, hey man, come on, let's leave well enough alone. The man's gone. He's suffered enough. He's gone. And I don't roll that way. Live your life in. I live by the creed that you should live your life in such a way that you should live your life in such a way that when you're dead, people aren't happy or they don't start shitting on you. Like, I remember when Reverend Jerry Falwell died, right? And I'm like, I'm not going to be like, well, he's dead. It's like people were actively excited about his death. Happy. I mean, talk shows were doing it. People that just would never just host the Tonight Show, just people. And then there was Queen Elizabeth's death. Now that's a little different, but she was the queen, and we don't know nothing about that life over here in America, but I'll tell you who did. The people in Ireland and Northern Ireland and everybody, some people in India, anybody who was occupied. I don't know if India was occupied under her rule, but that math might not add up. But I remember my friend Sherrod Small was telling me they were years later they still chant "Lizzie's in a box" because that person caused a horrendous amount of pain to them. I'll give you an example. Let's see here. If you were able to hear everything said by a single person, you would be disappointed in everyone. Yes, that's true. Yeah, that is true. And I get that sentiment. Here's the problem with the Hulk. Not so much the Hulk, Mr. Terry Bollea. And also the big difference we know between, it's hard to differentiate between Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea, but Hulk Hogan made that very easy, because Hulk Hogan mentioned that he doesn't have, I believe, a 10-inch penis. Terry Bollea does, and that was part of the Gawker trial. I was trying to look up the exact quote. I want to get the inches right, because I don't want to, in death, I want to get right how many inches he got. But when I put in Hulk penis, then it talks about somebody on Reddit. This is where we go down a rabbit hole. Marvel. Does somebody in Reddit wrote down, does Hulk's penis grow bigger when he transforms? And that's a fair question. That's a fair question. Does Hulk's penis, not Hulk Hogan, the Incredible Hulk. And then the first response, preternatural information specialist says there's a certain GIF floating around that seems to suggest that the answer is yes. Besides that, I don't see a reason to believe it wouldn't grow proportionally. Everything else is pretty much grows at the same rate. Okay, somebody responded, but the penis you're referring to was attached to a regular dude. So Hulk could be way bigger. Hulks could be way bigger. Apropos of nothing, do you suppose now he's like having a real intelligent conversation about the Incredible Hulk's penis? Do you suppose people have been talking about comic characters' dicks for nearly 100 years at this point, or longer even? Has somebody ever said something akin to Scarlet Pimpernel, more like purple dick? Oh, yeah, I don't know the thing. I don't know. I get that might be a question for gay men and women. I don't know. I've never thought of the size. We don't have to think about that because we as a straight man, when I see those Marvel X-Men characters that drawn with disproportionately large breasts, there was nothing to hide. Here's more answers. See, now this is the problem with ADD. Now I need to know what people are saying about the Incredible Hulk's penis, and then we'll get back to Hulk Hogan. Then we'll get back. What was this podcast about? Oh, that's right. The serious nature of people grieving who have ADHD. Here we go. The only person in the MCU who could answer that besides Hulk himself is dead. Thor saw it. Plus, there's a few people from the comics who've seen it. Did Thor see it? I wasn't aware. I wish we could get Ray Wagner on the line, my friend, the man who also made that logo, and he's also making the theme song if I can ever get around to getting the vocals done. Somebody just replied with seek help. How dare you? How dare you shame people for asking just a question? Also, Zarda knows. So does Ciaria and Umar and so a lot of people apparently, get wild with small dick energy, guys. None of these seem like the people. Oh, I guess so. He banged some people in the comic book series, which I didn't. I'm not a comic book guy, but I didn't know that this was going down in the MCU. Like, had I known that all this dick talk was going down in the MCU, I absolutely would have picked up comic books. Then someone replies, on the other hand, Micropene would explain why he's so damn angry all the time. See, that's the kind of thinking I like. Oh, that's right. Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan. Let me put in Hulk Hogan penis. And then, let's get this right. Hulk Hogan penis. Testify. Yes, Hulk Hogan had a 10-inch penis, but Terry Bollea does not. And that was one of the key moments of the testimony of the Gawker trial that shifted the entire business of online journalism forever. All right. So how did we get on the Hulk Hogan penis thing? Why did I get onto? Anyway, some people are glad he's dead. I'm seeing it in the comment section. I'll go to those in a second. But just so you know, I feel like it's okay for anyone to feel how they feel about it. But I prefer people who acknowledge the imperfections, and then I think that's you can mourn the character all you want. I mean, there's plenty of things that it can mean something to you, something inanimate. I'll tell you a story about an inanimate object that meant something to me. I used to go. My girlfriend loves to go thrift store shopping, and so do I. And we hadn't been in a while, and I said, let's go to my favorite place. Growing up, there was a Salvation Army that we used to go to. And I'll drive there, and we drove there, and it was like a scene out of a movie that the Salvation Army building was no longer there. It was just a pile of concrete. I had been there like 8 months earlier by myself, and it was one of those weird things where I literally did what they do in the movies, where I turned around and make sure that I'm not wrong. I have the right address, correctly. I have the right address. And this building had been demolished. They demolished the building. It had been there. And I felt sad. I almost teared up about it. I really did, because the number of times I shopped there. I have memories of going with my mother there when I was a little kid and holding her hand and then running around the store. And when you're being little enough to run through all the clothes, like this Salvation Army was like the king of all set. This was the best Salvation Army out there. I challenge you to find. Don't send me Salvation Army pictures. But it was a thrift store, and I would run through the clothes underneath, small enough. And I remember, growing up and going there on my own. And when I used to collect vinyl records, when I went through that phase, which I just comedy albums, just the visuals. I didn't have a record player because I do think that's ridiculous. But do you. As long as no kids are getting hurt, I don't care. That's my motto for anything. You do you as long as nobody's getting hurt. And I bought hockey equipment there. My hockey bag that I still have now. I remember I went there and there was a hockey bag, a Team Canada hockey bag for $40, and there was a bunch of equipment inside, and it was like one of those it felt like a scratch-off ticket. And I've got my first leather jacket there, a bunch of my suit jackets there. I got a girl's phone number there. That's right. That's how poorly I did. I remember getting a girl's phone number over there. Not a lot. It wasn't a great hangout for young chicks. And I felt a certain way about it. Because what you feel about it, and this is the thing when you have ADHD, you're all over the place. Your mind goes everywhere because I'm thinking about the future and I'm not mourning just the loss of this building or the Salvation Army. Look, we got eBay. I can get anything I want. I'm mourning the loss of my youth. And that's what happens when you mourn the loss of these celebrities, especially when they're older. Hulk Hogan, whether you like what he did in the... I like to just keep it to the mid to late 90s with the Hulk. 2002 WrestleMania 18 versus The Rock. That was a good one. That was, and then I don't fucks with Hulk Hogan. But it's a big part of your childhood, and so it represents like there's a sadness because you're getting old and the things that you love are changing, and we don't want it to change, but they do, and they have to. They have to change, and sometimes we wish it didn't, but all old people wish that it didn't. And sometimes we misremember. Look, wrestling is better now, I think, than it was in the 80s, and some people will argue that, but I remember what it was like in the 80s and 90s. This is what you got in the 80s and 90s. You tuned in Saturday morning at noon, and you got wrestlers just beating up a bunch of jobbers, people whose haircuts were messed up, people who had mismatched ring attire, didn't have any muscle definition, and then Macho Man Randy Savage would come out and beat the living hell out of this guy for about 3.5 minutes. And that was the match. And then Big Boss Man you got lucky, the Big Boss Man would handcuff somebody to the ropes and beat him with a nightstick. Because that was fun until you understand how societal racism works. But you don't know any better. You're 5, it's Saturday, it's noon. And then the fun would come to an end when American Gladiator was done. You might get one legitimate match on Superstar. It's better now, but what we miss is the innocence of being young. What you miss is not paying taxes and not having a supervisor, breaking your balls, even though you know the job better than they do. Those are the things you actually miss, but you channel it into, Hulk Hogan is gone. Or Malcolm Jamal Warner is another one who passed away. And when I was a kid, I loved The Cosby Show. That one's a lot sadder, obviously, because one, he didn't use... Well, he might have used the N-word, but he's black, so it's different. And there's people out there, why is it different? It's different, okay? It's different. And why is it different? I don't know, but it's not my place to ask. Just know that it's different, damn it. So don't hit me up with that in the comments section. I don't care about that. But Malcolm Jamal Warner, obviously that's much sadder because he's still a young man, relatively speaking. I don't know, he's in his 50s. Let's see. And also he died, I think, supposedly with his son on vacation. He saved his son from drowning. There's a lot. 54 years old. From Jersey City, my own stomping ground. So 54 is very young, right? And so when you talk about, well, let's see here. Let me go to the comments for a second because these are coming through. And thank you for joining me. And share this with your other friends who are mentally ill or disturbed. I probably should have put on the TikTok, by the way, that I should have used the words Hulk Hogan to get this trending. But because TikTok ruined my life, I couldn't get there. Somebody talking about, when we were talking about medication and talking about mental health, somebody in the comments said, I'm from El Salvador. It's definitely taboo. Yeah, you'll get locked up for admitting that you're sad. If you're a man and you're like, I'm a little down, they'll put you out in the fields, put a chain around your ankle. Never again. Yeah, Hulk rules. The character of Hulk Hogan rules. Also, by the way, Hulk Hogan was not my favorite wrestler, and my favorite growing up was the Ultimate Warrior, and that's not much better because he didn't cap it out saying a bunch of things, nice things. Was that hard? Did the Latinos ostracize you for looking white? Yes, they did a little bit, sometimes in my own family. I had a family. Listen, this is how... Yeah, this is off topic, but that's what this show's about. Forget it. Being Latino, because we were talking about the stigma of, for those of you joining us every second of this, we're talking about the stigma of you're not supposed to tell people that you're even thinking about seeing a therapist when you're Latino. I had a family on the Ecuadorian side, my mom's side, because I'm half Latino, half Armenian, and on my mom's side, and I love them. They're my cousins, but they are like whatever the white trash equivalent of Latinos is. Roosters in the backyard, not on a farm, in Queens, New York. We lived near the airport, and for whatever reason, they kept roosters, which I'm sure was a thrill and a joy to the people of the neighborhood right next to LaGuardia Airport, that the roosters would chime in at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I remember they were like, kind of making fun of me a little bit because I was, to them, whitewashed. Because I talk like this because both my parents are filthy immigrants with stupid accents, or that's the way I felt as a kid. You just want to be normal, so I learned to talk by watching people on TV, broadcasters, like Vince McMahon. Oh man, everybody I keep bringing up, I can't enjoy. Everybody I keep mentioning in my childhood who had a good impact on me, like, oh man. Loved Hulk Hogan, but you know who my favorite was the Ultimate Warrior. Okay, that's not good. Never mind. Forget about Ultimate Warrior. Really, I consider myself a Chris Benoit. Okay, you know what? All right, you know what? Wrestling, Vince McMahon, we don't need to talk about wrestling. Let's talk about my film influences. Man, when I wasn't watching wrestling, did I love Woody Allen? Okay, you know what? Forget comedy. Let's stick to dramas, because Roman Polanski would... Okay, you know what? Books. Let's just stick to books. I used to love those Harry Potter. Let's just stare at a wall and suck on our thumb, because everybody you love... You know what, Josh? You're right. Everybody you love will disappoint you at some point. I was talking... Yeah, but I will say the reason somebody was asking why it is that... or I guess the comment is you'd be real disappointed. And that is true, because we've all made mistakes. I think the difference is not so much the mistake. It is how you bounce back from the mistake and the choices that you make. And for the Hulk, for Mr. Terry Bollea, Terry chose to not really apologize. He made like a half-ass apology. He did some type of whatever he released probably some type of statement. But his big thing when he went back to the locker room, supposedly, and this is, I can't say because I wasn't there, but the people of color seemed to be pretty up in arms about it, said that basically it wasn't so much an apology as it was, hey guys, you never know when you're being recorded, so be careful, which is not the point, Terry. Not the point of dropping an N-bomb, talking about how you don't want your daughter to date ninjas. By the way, the Insane Clown Posse using the word ninjas has totally ruined Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for me. Another show from the 90s. Somebody said, Hogan versus Warrior, best match ever. Don't care what anyone says. It was to you as a child. If you go back and watch it as an adult, there are better matches, but it meant more to you because those characters meant more to you. Because when you were young, that's all that mattered in that moment. But it's fine to enjoy it. It's fine to enjoy it without having to delve into the Ultimate Warrior's past of homosexual slurs. I don't know that he used an N-bomb, but and also, whatever, difficult person screaming at Make-A-Wish kids, I believe. Ryan Gosling, I remember, a famous actor that Stephen Colbert had asked Ryan Gosling, do you remember, was anyone not nice to you or something like that? Your worst the first time you ever asked for an autograph, and he said it was the Ultimate Warrior at an airport, and the Ultimate Warrior was rude and yelled at him and said no. So that was his worst celebrity interaction. Do you know how terrible you have to be? I mean, the Ultimate Warrior has been dead for over a decade. Ryan Gosling has been in show business at this point for 30 years, since he was like a little kid. And for him to go, hey, the worst celebrity interaction I ever had, the Ultimate Warrior. And this is a guy who, by the way, I assume at some point crossed paths with Harvey Weinstein. And said, Honestly, it would be Harvey Weinstein, but The Ultimate Warrior was worse. So I guess it goes back to live your life in such a way that that people don't look down on don't get excited about your death. They don't yell and they don't cheer your death. I can use somebody. I assume this person on Twitch. I can't read the thing from here. Is black because they said I can use the N-word. They can't. Period. LOL. I'm not going to argue with you. Nor do I need it. I don't need it. I understand sometimes in comedy people want to try to get it in there to make a point. It's just not worth it. But forgiveness is all in the actions you make. So on top of that, dropping N-bombs. And then he got caught on another call, I think, talking to his son about the karma being that coming back as a black person would be terrible karma. That would be your punishment. Just black. He didn't say what kind of black person. So in his head, like, oh, man, Jesus will punish you. He'll send you back. And then you could end up being Martin Luther King or Barack Obama. Oh, the sadness there. Remember when Vince made the Warrior do the apology video? He did, but he only did it because that person turned out to be the child of somebody very important, somebody a big sponsor or something. Somebody. Here we go. Jordan Ferber and the Instagram comments saying, "I think about breasts when I think of grief too," and I think that's a great way to get over grief. That's certainly helpful. Listen, how you grieve is your choice. If you're confused about this Hulk Hogan thing and the only way to get past it is to lay some pipe, I'm not going to stop you. But there is let's talk a little bit about Ozzy as I pull this other thing up to make a point. Now, Ozzy Osbourne's death is, Ozzy Osbourne's death is, not as controversial because I don't know that Ozzy did. And that's, that one saddened me too. Ozzy had less of an impact on my life. I wasn't a heavy metal person, but I love Ozzy as a character, as just himself. And I do like a lot of his music. I'm just not like a hardcore metalhead, but I have a lot of his songs because he has a great eclectic catalog. But a funny dude, not just like the craziest, most rock star, but also the funniest. Just genuinely like a funny person with the way he tells stories. I mean, just the way he told the story, Howard Stern. The beauty is, with all this technology and stuff, there is a beauty. You talk about not wanting to change. On YouTube now, you can see people posting their favorite clips of Ozzy and stuff. And Howard Stern posted a clip that the way that Sharon Osbourne, his wife, and his manager tricked him into going to rehab was that she told him that he was going there to learn to drink responsibly. So he showed up in a suit and asked where the cocktail lounge was. And everyone looked at him rightfully like he was insane, and that's how they tricked him. And the way he tells the story, just who tells a story where they, he talks about his own lack of sobriety or being a drunk, and talking about how when he realized it was time to go in for treatment, he was at his kid's birthday party and they were filming it, and he saw himself drunk later on for the first time, and he was like, up until that point, I thought everyone was having a good time. I thought everyone was laughing. The kids are crying. I thought I was fucking Dean Martin. And just a funny dude. And so nothing but praise. I think I saw one or two things saying that he said something, but then YouTube, it was unfounded or they didn't make enough of a connection. I don't know. But the important thing is to live a life where people are saddened by your passing and they want to remember you fondly and respectfully. In my own experience, somebody I did know, I'm sure Ozzy beat and cheated on his wife. I don't know if he beat his wife. That's possible. He definitely cheated on his wife, which is not great, but those two worked that out. I'm not saying I expect perfection from anybody. I really don't. Look, I mean, you can look at it. I'm a fan of John Lennon, but number one, John Lennon beat his first wife. That we know. He beat the wrong. I don't even. It's just too funny a joke to pass up. I don't even believe in that, but that's. He beat the wrong one. But also John Lennon. I don't like the way John Lennon. No one talks about this enough. He abandoned his first son. He's all in all, taking care of Sean. Yoko should have gotten one. Look, I said we're moving on. There's no reason to follow my. Nah, it's fine. I'm not yelling at you. Somebody wrote, "I'm sorry." The wrong one. What were we talking about? Perfection. Yes, I don't expect perfection. John Lennon, I don't love the way he treated his first son, Julian. Just kind of abandoned him and had this whole second family. It's a very... And had a second family and just never, wrote songs about Sean, song after song, and just barely saw his first son, Julian, after that. And I think that's shitty. I don't expect perfection from people, but how you apologize and Sharon and him worked those things out, I would assume, because they were still married until the end. I never heard anything about the DM or the domestic whatever, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm sure he might have in the fits of alcohol, but you are allowed to change, but you have to seek a path towards redemption. And I think going to a locker room full of African American wrestlers and going, "You got to watch out for those cameras, brother," is not the way. Yeah, I made a big mistake, dude, and I didn't know I was being filmed when I was saying all that, brother. Like, okay, not the point. Also, I got a 10-inch cock. Okay, Hulk, you're not really helping. Also, they asked me to play bass in Metallica, dude. Okay, that we all know is a lie. And he was a liar and a union buster, and he ratted out Jesse Ventura, who tried to form a union, which might have saved many of our favorite wrestlers' lives, but we'll never know because Hulk tattled on him to Vince McMahon. And there's a bunch of other things that he did. Tried to get The Undertaker fired, basically, by pretending that The Undertaker gave him a tombstone and broke his neck when he didn't. Just to protect his top spot, dude. There's a lot of awful things that he did. It's just more the redemption. And then I think for people of color, for black people, for Latinos, the cherry on the sundae was not only really not apologizing for the N-bombs, but also, going full MAGA did not help his case either. So there's a whole community of people who are furious at him, and they have every right to be, and they can be. But also, life is complicated. You can also mourn the character, because the character means more to me than the guy. The guy don't mean nothing to me. He don't mean nothing. Hey, everybody on TikTok, finally the sound is working because I'm getting some comments there. Instagram sucks because they won't let me see the comments here. Everybody else is cool. YouTube, you're cool. Twitch, you're cool. What was I talking about? Oh, so in my own case, in my own life, Ozzy, people are, that's the way you want to be remembered. Malcolm Jamal Warner. I'm a stand-up comedian by trade, and that's what I've done longer than I've done anything else. I broadcast for 20 years. I've been doing stand-up comedy for 22, 23. And I ran into a comedian named Todd Lynn. Now, people may not be familiar with Todd Lynn. He never really hit it big. He was on television here and there. Todd Lynn was a guy who, this does not define him, but he had a small arm on his right side. He had some illness or some polio or something where he had a small arm, and that's fine. And I don't know if people picked on him or that or what, but I don't know if that's why. They may not have anything to do. I know plenty of people with dysformities. What do we call that? I don't know. What's the polite way to say, What's the polite way to say, and not say what we used to say in the 80s, which is, you all fucked up. I know plenty of people who have, issues or health issues, and they're delightful people. Not Todd Lynn. Todd Lynn was just a rude, mean person. The type of person that people who, we would have conversations about Todd Lynn, and people who never piped up to say a bad word about anybody. People who were the kindest people in the world would turn their bar stool around and go, "Are you guys talking about Todd Lynn? Yeah, fuck that guy. Disability. Disability, malformity, whatever. Yeah, either way. Cripples. Non-able body. That's the politically correct term. Not cripples. which I like doing just to get a rile out of my girlfriend. And so Todd Lynn was very rude and mean, especially to younger comics. He was a bully to younger comics. He was not nice to people. He was abusive. He went out of his way to like insult people. I remember Todd Lynn showing up, looking at the lineup with the comedians sitting at the bar and going, "What is this, a fucking open mic? What is this, an open mic?" You know, these are professional comedians that he didn't, you know, he thought he was better than, and he was bitter about not getting his break. And he would insult them, or, you know, he was just very verbally abusive, like, you know, telling people their jokes sucked. It's just, in every sense of the word, trying to get people fired, and just not a nice guy, like universally not liked, with the exception of one or two people who have a nice story about it. I remember him coming up to me and trying to mess with me. He was telling some sex story or something. And he goes, "You wouldn't know nothing about that. How many women you slept with?" And I said, "Todd," and then, you know, whatever. I go, "Hey man, I don't. I go, Todd, I've done stuff you wish you could have dreams about. I just don't talk about them." And then he goes, "Oh yeah. How long you been doing comedy?" Then he tried to shift gears. I remember, "How long you been doing comedy?" I said, "Long enough to know that there's no right answer to that question. You're gonna break my balls no matter what." And he left me alone. He never fucked with me, but I watched him fuck with other people, and I didn't have the standing at the time. I was a new comic to put a stop to it. Just to, you know, I don't remember the stories off the top of my head, but just take my word for it. You know me. I'm a nice guy. Even if you don't know me, you're with me now. We're together. You know me a little bit. Just trust me now to say he was a jerk off, not a nice guy. My friend Dante Nero, who he tried to get fired, even after Dante was helping him when he went blind. Todd Lynn eventually got sick and went blind in his eyes, and Dante helped him because he wanted to put the past behind him. This man was suffering, and Dante's a good person. And Dante helped him, and after that, he found out that Todd Lynn was trying to get Dante fired from a gig. And so, this is the text that Dante sends out every year. January 27th, 2018. "Texting my friends to wish you all a happy Todd Lynn is dead day. On this day, a horrible, inconsiderate, selfish, abusive, and parasitic individual died, and the world became a better place because of it. Death is usually a tragic event, unless, of course, it ends the abuse of others. So I don't mince words when I say it couldn't have happened to a better guy. Happy TLD Day, Todd Lynn's dead day." And and we send that to each other every January 27th, 2018. And guess what? Because he's dead, it doesn't mean that it doesn't undo his shitty behavior towards people, right? And so Dante has a right to send that. I have a right to feel that way. My friend Jordan Ferber, who is the nicest human being in the world, who runs a grief, he does a grief podcast called Where's the Grief? He runs grief counseling seminars. Even he pipes up and goes, "Yeah, that guy's a piece of shit," because he was a rude, mean person. And I guess what I'm saying is, don't live your life in such a way that when you die, someone sends a group text message to celebrate your death. And for some people, that's harder than others. For Hulk Hogan, I guess it wasn't possible. But also, when you deal with your emotions, as far as ADHD goes, you have the right to do it. However, whatever it makes you feel good. However you feel the need to mourn. But I don't believe in. Oh, there's Jordan Ferber. Yeah, Jordan's on. Jordan, I was just talking about how much you hate Todd Lynn, even in death, as we all do, because he was not a nice person, and I was comparing him to Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Can we mourn the death of Hollywood Hulk? I don't think it works that way. Yeah, because Hulk Hogan was the one on. And there's somebody else made an interesting point. What did I miss? Is he talking about... No, I'm not talking about Rob Shapiro. I didn't have any beef with Rob Shapiro. Was Rob Shapiro an asshole to you, Jordan? Comedian Rob Shapiro? I didn't. I only had a couple interactions with Rob. He was weird, but not mean to me. But we were talking about Todd Lynn, and you missed out on the. I'll send you the. I'll get you in the group text. Oh, also Rob Shapiro, not my favorite. Jordan, what did Rob Shapiro do to you? If you don't mind typing, and I'll read it up. And what was I just talking about? Oh, somebody pointed this out. You know, with Hulk Hogan. For people who want to separate the character, and they went, yeah, but Hulk Hogan was also the one who showed up at the MAGA rally at the RNC, and if you're not into that, which a lot of us are not, that also didn't help the situation. That certainly didn't ease the tensions between Hulk Hogan and the African American community. Showing up at MAGA is not exactly the best way to redeem yourself. But that also, the Undertaker. Here's the thing, though. It's really the N-bombs thing. The Undertaker supported Trump. He didn't get booed. In the same night, he didn't get booed. And this generation is not letting that crap go. They're just not, and good for them. They're just not going to be on the wrong side of history. They're just not gonna. Hey, they don't care. I remember somebody posted something about Chris Benoit passing away, because every once in a while you get, these idiots online who are like, Chris Benoit should be in the Hall of Fame. You should separate wrestling. Yeah, shut up, stupid. That's not happening, and it shouldn't happen. The dude was a double murderer. Too long. Jordan says too long a story really to relate in the comment section. That's fine. We'll find out. We'll save that for in person. Hey, Chris Caresnon is with us. I love Chris. How you doing, bud? What was I saying? Oh man, ADD, ADHD. Let's see here. We're talking about Hulk Hogan rip. Yeah, that didn't endear him to the African American community, and whatever. Look, you're allowed to feel how you feel, and I guess my point is, these things affect us a certain way. I remember Terry Funk, another professional wrestler, died, and it made me sad and depressed. And listen, it's interesting because Terry Funk hasn't wrestled a match in, I don't know, 15 years. He wasn't part of. I've seen everything I'm going to see from Terry Funk. It's all there, but the notion that he's gone affects you in a certain way. That it like I said, it's all about youth and your fears. That's why the Malcolm Jamal Warner thing, that was part of my youth too, watching the Cosby Show. Ah, boy, Cosby's another one that you have to separate the art. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. I still watch clips of the Cosby Show. I still watch it because when I was a kid, it was very soothing, and why should I didn't do anything wrong. Why do I have to suffer? I enjoy that. I'm able to separate the character, and it's a great show. Unfortunately, every once in a while, in the middle of it, you go, damn it. This show is made by a rapist. Damn it. But you're allowed to, whatever it takes to get through life, as long as you're not hurting anyone, do whatever it takes to, do whatever it takes to survive. Somebody in the comments here, it's Jedi. I didn't realize that's you. I can't, this is the other thing about, having ADHD. I also might be partly dyslexic. So you type words without caps. It's Jedi. And I see it's a Jedi. I think just you're somebody from Sweden or Slovakia. And it's my friend Jedi. Taker being a Trump supporter was hurtful, but he has not said anything overly racist. And maybe this is why he hasn't. Yeah, that's exactly the reason. Yeah, you can separate the man from the art. And I do that. And you can mourn any way you want to mourn. It's okay, guys. There's no wrong answers. Except when I post that Hulk Hogan used the N-word in somebody in the comments section. That makes me like him more. And I would like to think they're being sarcastic. But this being the internet and 2025, they're probably not. And it is what it is. So, guys, that is the end tonight of Harry Has ADHD. We are out of time, and damn it, we did not get to... Once again, we have run out of time, and we were not able to solve and cure ADHD. And for that, I apologize. I really... Listen, we'll try to get to it next Wednesday night is my next plan. This was a special one because I wanted to talk about this because it's on top of everybody's mind. But maybe next week we'll solve ADHD. If we can get around to it. I swear, I'm going to do it. It's on my list of things to do. Until then, do me a favor. Please like, share, and subscribe. Whatever platform you're on. At Harry Turjanian is all my social media. So follow that everywhere. But also like, subscribe, share. Pretend to share. Just copy it and paste it somewhere else. I think that helps. For the love of God, I think this is a fun show. And it would be nice. And it would be nice to share it with your friends who have ADHD. Because you all have some. Because everyone has it. We all know people who have it. and we will not be ignored. I mean, literally, we will refuse to be ignored. All right, guys, thank you so much. See you next week. Come have ADHD with me.